Williams Funeral Directors have been proudly serving the people of this community since 1918. Service is our motto. The poor, the rich, the middle class, and all are given the best of care and attention at all times. You have the privilege to select what you want. In your time of need, contact the capable, the competent, and the dependable staff of the J.W. Williams Funeral Home who is genuinely concerned with your care. At J.W. Williams Funeral Home, you are aptly served by the proprietor president, Deacon Arthur L. Parker, who continues the traditions and values set forth by the past president, Dr. Napoleon Williams. Your announcers for the J.W. Williams Funeral Home Sunday morning program are Deacon Arthur L. Parker, Reverend Isaac H. Owens, Mrs. Calandra Wilkerson Parker, Minister Frankie Harmon, Ms. Sandra Johnson, and Deacon Earl Clark, Jr.
Thank you, and good morning, friends. We come to you this morning to bring announcements, dedications, and songs. We certainly hope that your day may be brighter after listening to our program. The family of Mrs. Connie A. Calloway Anthony of Americus, Georgia. The family of Mr. Clyde Neal Anthony of Americus, Georgia, would like to thank their many friends for the food, the flowers, the condolences, and all other expressions of sympathy and kindness shown to them during their hours of sorrow and bereavement during the past week. Mrs. Connie Calloway Anthony, age 68, of 107 Apple Blossom Lane, Americus, Georgia, died Sunday, June 16th, at a residence in Americus, Georgia. The funeral service for Mrs. Connie A. Calloway Anthony, age 68, was held Saturday, June 22nd, graveside at Staley Memorial Gardens in Americus, Georgia. The Reverend Shirley Strawder officiated. Survivors include her loving and devoted mother, Mrs. Ozzie Mathis Calloway of Americus, Georgia. Her loving and devoted children, Miss Mabel Anthony Mitchell and her husband, Sir Rod Mitchell of Perry, Georgia. Mrs. LaKendra Wakefield and her husband, Mr. Dwayne Wakefield, and Mr. Darrell Anthony of Americus, Georgia. Mr. Travis Anthony of Columbus, Georgia. 10 devoted grandchildren, her beloved sibling, Mr. Stevie M. Calloway of Dublin, Georgia. Mrs. Belinda Calloway Ware and her husband, Mr. Larry Ware of Rex, Georgia. Mrs. Sheila Calloway Raven and her husband, Mr. Kelvin Raven of Hopes Mill, North Carolina. Mr. Robert Calloway Sr. of Unadilla, Georgia, and Mrs. Mary Ann Calloway Neal of High Point, North Carolina. One beloved aunt, Mrs. Margaret Mathis of Americus, Georgia. Her loving cousin, who were raised like sisters, Mrs. Michelle Mathis Paramount of Red Oak, Texas, and Miss Tamara Mathis of Douglasville, Georgia. A host of beloved nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survived Mrs. Connie A. Calloway Anthony, age 68, of 107 Apple Blossom Lane, Americus, Georgia. Mr. Clyde Neil Anthony, age 72, of 107 Apple Blossom Lane, Americus, Georgia, died Sunday, June 16th, at his residence in Americus, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Clyde Neil Anthony, age 72, was held Saturday, June 22nd, in the chapel of the Jwwilliams Funeral Home in Cordele, Georgia. The Reverend Shirley Stroughter officiated. The burial followed at the Eastview Cemetery in Americus, Georgia. Survivors include his loving and devoted children, Mrs. Melville Mitchell and her husband Sir Rod Mitchell of Perry, Georgia, Mrs. Lakedra Wakefield and her husband Mr. Dwayne Wakefield, and Mr. Darrell Anthony of Americus, Georgia, Mr. Travis Anthony of Columbus, Georgia, and Miss Sonia Lamar of Atlanta, Georgia. 13 beloved grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren, his loving and devoted sisters, Miss Artis Scott and Miss Hilda Williams and her husband Sir Glenn Williams of Atlanta, Georgia, and Mrs. Janet Jackson of Miami, Florida. His beloved mother-in-law, Miss Ozzie Calloway, his beloved in-law, Mr. Fred Calloway, Mr. Stevie Calloway, Mrs. Belinda Ware, and Miss Sheila Raven, a host of beloved nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many sorrowing friends, to include Mr. Wilson Richardson of Hartford, Connecticut, survived Mr. Clyde Neil Anthony, age 72, 107 Apple Blossom Lane, Americus, Georgia. Again, the family of Mrs. Connie A. Calloway Anthony of Americus, Georgia, the family of Mr. Clyde Neil Anthony of Americus, Georgia, would like to thank their many friends for all of the many kindnesses shown to them during their hours of sorrow and bereavement during the past week. May God bless each of you, is their prayer. The Jwwilliams funeral directors serving Cordele and Vienna were in charge of each of these arrangements during the past week. And now, it is certainly with the deepest regret that we make the following announcements. Mrs. Gloria Jean Wright Chandler, age 77, of 3211 Lancaster Lane, Albany, Georgia, died Monday, June 17, at the Phoebe Putney Memorial Hospital in Albany, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and supportive sibling, Mrs. Emma Green and her husband, Mr. Nathaniel Green, Mrs. Dolly Morgan, Mrs. Annie Perry, Miss Rosa Wright, Miss Marita Jones, Deacon Emery Wright and his wife, Mrs. Robin Wright, Mrs. Darlene Coleman, and Mr. Leonard Wright. A special son, Mr. Bobby Chandler Jr., and a beloved daughter, Miss Joyce A. Chandler. A goddaughter, Miss Edna Patterson. A host of beloved nieces, nephews, cousins, and close friends survived Mrs. Gloria Jean Wright Chandler, age 77, of 3211 Lancaster Lane, Albany, Georgia. The wake service for Mrs. Gloria Jean Wright Chandler, age 77, will be held today, Sunday, June 23rd, at 3 p.m. at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home in Cordele, Georgia. The Reverend Dr. H.C. Wilson, pastor of the St. Matthew's Baptist Church, will officiate. The funeral service for Mrs. Gloria Jean Wright Chandler, age 77, will be held Tuesday, June 25th at 11 a.m. at the Mount Patmon Baptist Church in Decatur, Georgia. The pastor, Reverend Paul Dwayne, will officiate. The burial will follow at the Rest Haven Gardens of Memory in Decatur, Georgia. Mr. James Leron Gaines, age 42, of 2004 South 10th Street, Cordele, Georgia, died Wednesday, June 19th, at his residence in Cordele, Georgia. Survivors include his loving and devoted mother, Mrs. Georgia King Gaines of Cordele, Georgia, his loving children, Miss Jasmine Gaines of Vienna, Georgia, Miss Jamea Gaines of Perry, Georgia, one grandchild, Jordan Collins, his loving and devoted sisters, Miss Cynthia Felder of Warner Robins, Georgia, Miss Sue Gaines of Americas, Georgia, and Miss Vivian Gaines of Warner Robins, Georgia. His beloved brother, Mr. Metric Gaines of Cordele, Georgia. His beloved aunts and uncles, Mr. Walter and Mrs. Sarah Gaines, Miss Ruby Gaines, Miss Christine Gaines, and Miss Leslie Gaines, all of Cordele, Georgia. Mrs. Addie Benson of Atlanta, Georgia, Miss Rose Hollis, Miss Barbara Hollis, Mr. Jerry Hollis, all of Houston, Texas. His beloved nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends, to include his special friends, Mr. Broderick Westbrook of Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Rocky Reese, and Mr. Jordan Smith, both of Cordele, Georgia. Survived Mr. James Leron Gaines, age 42, of 2004 South 10th Street, Cordele, Georgia. The public visitation for Mr. James Leroy Gaines, age 42, will be held Tuesday, June 27, from 1 until 5 p.m. at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home. Mr. Marcus Bernard Washington Sr., age 35, of 315 Porter Street, Vienna, Georgia, died Saturday, June 22nd, due to injury sustained in a motorcycle accident. Survivors include his loving and devoted wife, Mrs. Wendy Thomas Washington, his loving and devoted children, Miss Shenica Washington, Miss Makia Washington, Mr. Marcus Washington Jr., Mr. Ja'Cory Washington, Mr. Damaris Washington, Miss Nova Washington, all of Fort Valley, Georgia. 7 beloved grandchildren, his beloved grandmother, Mrs. Johnny Kate Washington of Unadilla, Georgia. His loving and devoted sister, Ms. Anitra Jackson, and her husband, Chris Jackson of Atlanta, Georgia. His beloved brothers, Mr. Jackie Washington of Oklahoma, Mr. Vince Washington, and Mr. Telvin Lewis, both of Vienna, Georgia. His beloved aunts and uncles, Mr. Marlon Watkins of Roberta, Georgia, Mrs. Pamela Daniels and her husband, Mr. Bryce Daniels of Pinehurst, Georgia, and Mr. Lynn Washington of Duluth, Georgia. A host of nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. Marcus Bernard Washington Sr., age 35, of 315 Porter Street, Vienna, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Marcus Bernard Washington Sr., age 35, will be announced at a later date pending the completion of the arrangements. The Jwwilliams funeral directors serving Cordele and Vienna are in charge of each of these arrangements during this week. Friends, that conclude our funeral notices for this morning. And as always, we do remind you concerning our pre-funeral arrangements planning available at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home, with packages available with a single pay, a 3-year pay, a 5-year pay, and a 10-year pay. So please stop by and talk with us concerning your pre-funeral arrangements needs available at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home. And also whole life insurance is available at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home. And now for announcements. The Turkey Creek Baptist Church of Lilly, Georgia, Gospel Explosion will be held Sunday, June 30th at 3 p.m. On program, the Gospel Stars of Lilly, Georgia, the Spiritual Saints of Middle Georgia, and the Gospel Pioneers. Solos on program, Minister Dexter Davis, Minister Brenda Jones, and Deacon Kenneth Smith, along with others, gospel groups and soloists. The program is sponsored by Mrs. Loretta Walters, founder and organizer of Give with Grace. Everyone is invited. The Reverend Jerome Smith, host pastor. The Mount Moriah Baptist Church of Unadilla, Georgia, annual homecoming and revival service will be Sunday, June 7th through Thursday, June 11th. Homecoming service begins Sunday, June 7th with Sunday school at 10 a.m., morning worship at 11 a.m. At 1:30 p.m., the Green Grove Baptist Church and Pastor Reverend Darrell McIntosh will be in charge of the homecoming service. The revival begins Monday, July 9th through Thursday, July 11th. The following will be their special guest. Monday, the Linwood Baptist Church of Hawkinsville, Georgia, and Pastor Dr. Willie Harriman. Tuesday, the New Bethel Baptist Church of Unadilla, Georgia, and Pastor the Reverend Carlos Dixon. Wednesday, Calvary Hill Baptist Church of Jeffersonville, Georgia, and Pastor Reverend Randy Pascal. Thursday, First Fellowship Full Gospel Baptist Church of Fitzgerald, Georgia, and Pastor Dr. Horace Wright. Everyone is invited to attend. The Reverend Edward Lester, pastor. The Turkey Creek Baptist Church annual homecoming service will begin Sunday, July 14th at 11 a.m. Revival begins Monday, July 15th through Friday, July 19th at 7:30 p.m. The following will be their special guests. Monday and Tuesday, the Reverend Darrell McIntosh. Wednesday through Friday, the Reverend Kawanda Walker. Everyone is invited. Sister Teresa Young, church reporter, Deacon Joseph Davis, chairman of deacons, and the Reverend Jerome Smith is the pastor. The Free Will Ushers Union will be held on the fifth Sunday, June 30th at 11 a.m. at the Old Shady Grove Baptist Church in Americus, Georgia. All participating churches are asked to attend, as well as surrounding communities. Everyone is invited. Sister Joanne Griffin, reporter, the Reverend Jesse Watts, pastor. The Antioch Baptist Church, 484 Highway 280 West, Americus, Georgia, Pipe the Pew program will be Sunday, June 30th at 11 a.m. Evangelist Angela Laster Zanders of the Anointed Heart Outreach Ministry in Americus, Georgia, will be their special guest. Everyone is invited. Deacon David Laster, chairman of deacons, and the Reverend Ricky Cladd, pastor. The McAfee Grove, Highway 19 North, Leesburg, Georgia, invites everyone to worship with them. Family night, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Small class study, Thursday at 7 p.m. Sunday morning worship at 9 a.m. Minister Trawanda Daniels, secretary, Dr. Robert L. Morgan, Sr., pastor. The New Corinth Baptist Church, Hooksmill Road, Leslie, Georgia, invites everyone to worship with them each third Sunday at 10 a.m. Deacon Johnny Griffin, Jr., chairman of deacons, and the Reverend Carl Smith, pastor. The Beulah Baptist Church will observe its annual homecoming service Sunday today, June 23rd at 2:30 p.m. The Reverend Keith Mathis of the Mount Beulah Baptist Church of Hineview, Georgia, will bring the afternoon message. Dinner will be served at 11:15. Homecoming revival begins Wednesday, June 26th through Friday, June 28th. The following will be their special guests. Wednesday, the Greater Gum Creek Baptist Church and pastor, Reverend Joseph Hagerbrook. Thursday, the New Oak Grove Baptist Church and pastor, the Reverend W. Wilson. Friday, the Mount Calvary Baptist Church and pastor, the Reverend I.H. Owens. Everyone is invited. Mother Diane Flood, church mother, Deacon Willie Smith, chairman of deacons, Dr. Dwayne Daniels, pastor. The Spring Hill Baptist Church, Cannon Road, Cordele, Georgia, church and pastor's anniversary will be today, Sunday, June 23rd at 10 a.m. Everyone is invited. Mother Lily Mathis, church mother, Deacon Eddie Byram, chairman of deacons, and the Reverend Shannon Select, pastor. The Crossroad Baptist Church will observe their church and pastor's anniversary today, Sunday, June 23rd at 10 a.m. Everyone is invited to attend. Mother Eileen Payne, church mother, Deacon Jimmy Charles Mumphrey, chairman of deacons, and the Reverend Nelson Maynard, pastor. The Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church Vacation Bible School will be held Tuesday, June 25th through Thursday, June 27th at 9 a.m. until 12 noon. The theme is going back to the old landmark. There will be lots of learning games, relay games, basketball challenges, and lunch will be served. Everyone is invited. Mother Mary Henderson, church mother, Deacon Tommy Ford Jr., chairman of deacons, and Dr. K.M. Williams, pastor. The Little Rock Baptist Church of Araby, Georgia, Youth Revival begins Thursday, June 27th at 7 p.m. Minister Yolanda Robinson will be the guest minister. Everyone is invited. Mother Adeline Lofton, Church Mother, the Reverend Joseph Green, Pastor. The New St. Stephen's Church, 616 West 16th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, Friday night live service will be held Friday, June 28th at 7 p.m. Pastor Cassandra Hayes of the Queen Bling Accessory on Facebook Live will be the guest minister. Everyone has a cordial invitation to attend. Dr. Frankie Harmon, Pastor. The Mount Calvary Baptist Church Youth Day will be held June 30th at 10:45 a.m. The 2024 graduates will be the guest speakers. Mother Evelyn Lewis, Church Mother, Deacon Leon Spears, Chairman of Deacons, and the Reverend Isaac H. Owens, Pastor. The Bethel Christian Methodist Episcopal Church, 612 Joe Wright Drive, Cordele, Georgia, will observe their pastor's anniversary, the Reverend Veronica R. Smith, on Sunday, July 7th at 2 p.m. The Reverend Isaac H. Owens, pastor of the Mount Calvary Baptist Church, will deliver the anniversary message. Everyone is invited. The Reverend Veronica R. Smith, pastor. The Zion Hope Baptist Church of Winona annual revival begins Wednesday, July 10th through Thursday, July 11th at 7 p.m. On program will be Wednesday, the Spring Hill Baptist Church and Pastor Reverend Shannon Select. Thursday, the Beautiful Zion Baptist Church and Pastor, the Reverend Lorinda Ray. The revival climax Sunday, June 14th at 2 p.m. with the Emmanuel Baptist Church in charge of the service. Everyone is invited to attend. Sister Barbara Smith, Secretary, Deacon Xavier Bryant, Chairman of Deacons, and the Reverend Willie James Felton, Pastor. Now open Right Choice DUI School, 854 North Houston Road, Warner Robins, Georgia, offering online and in-person classes, weekday and weekend classes. For more information, please call 478-210-6346, 478-210-6346. Fort Valley University Chris County Head Start is now accepting applications for the 2024-2025 school year. If interested, visit the Head Start Center at 1110 South 12th Street, Cordele, Georgia, to complete an application. For more information, please contact Ms. Laquita Jenwright at 229-276-9880. Ms. Laquita Jenwright, 229-276-9880. The Mount Zion First African Baptist Church conference call scheduled Sunday morning at 10 a.m., prayer Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12 noon. Bible study Wednesday, 5 p.m. The call-in number is 339-209-6419, 339-209-6419. Deacon Jwwilliams, Chairman of Deacons, Dr. Dan James III, Pastor. The Gethsemane Baptist Church, 508 South 14th Street, Cordele, Georgia, invites everyone to worship with them each Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Mother Mary Butler, Church Mother, Deacon Johnny Wilson, Chairman of Deacons, and Reverend Cecil Strouder, Pastor. The New Oak Grove Baptist Church invites everyone to worship with them each Sunday. Sunday school at 9:15 a.m., worship service at 10 a.m., face covering is required. Everyone is invited. Sister Letha Askew, church clerk and trustee, Deacon Alonzo Jones, chairman of deacons, and the Reverend W. Wilson, pastor. The Greater Gum Creek Baptist Church, 2036 U.S. Highway 280 West, Cordele, Georgia, invites everyone to worship with them each Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Mother Norma Solomon, church mother, Deacon Zachary Field, chairman of deacons, the Reverend Joseph Hoggerbrook is the pastor. The St. Paul Presbyterian Church, 514 West 15th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, invites everyone to worship with them each first and third Sundays at 11 a.m. If you are interested, may contact the pastor, the Reverend Owita Hegman, at 229-406-1333. The Reverend Owita Hegman, 229-406-1333. Everyone is invited. Elder Ola Outlaw, clerk of session, and the Reverend Owita Hegman, pastor. The Beautiful Zion Baptist Church, 2003 South 10th Street, Cordele, Georgia, cordially invites everyone to worship with them each Sunday at 11 a.m. Mother Donna Mae Childs, church mother, the Reverend Lorinda Ray is the pastor. You're invited to worship with the Mount Calvary Baptist Church today, the Reverend Isaac H. Owens, pastor. Everyone is invited to worship with the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church today with Sunday school at 9 a.m. with the superintendent, Deacon John Stubbs and Deacon Donald Talbot in charge. Morning worship at 9:30 a.m. Everyone is invited. Mother Mary Henderson, church mother, Deacon Tommy Ford, chairman of deacons, and Dr. Jwwilliams is the pastor. Friends, that concludes our announcements for this morning, and we do ask that you would govern yourselves accordingly. And I did have an announcement, but I don't have it before me. It was dropped from the New Beulah Baptist Church of Cobb, Georgia, and I'm going off the top of my head. Their annual revival begins the week coming up to the first Sunday in July. They do invite that you would share with them there. Sister Rosemary Jones shared that announcement, but for some kind of way we dropped that announcement. So feel free to contact Sister Rosemary Jones concerning the time of the New Beulah Baptist Church coming up to the first Sunday in July. And we do apologize for not having that before us. And now for announcements, dedication. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following. In loving memory of Mrs. Bernice Green Muntz, who departed this life June 26, 2023. Dedication requested by our beloved husband, Mr. Keith Muntz, her parents, Mr. Edward and Sister Jenny Green, and her brothers and nieces as they remember the life of Mrs. Bernice Green Muntz, who departed this life June 26, 2023, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of the Reverend Frederick Harriel, who departed this life June 22nd, 2008, and also in loving memory of Mrs. Jody Harriel, who departed this life June the 26th, 2010. Dedication requested by the family, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mrs. Rosalie Jones, who would have celebrated her birthday June 23rd. Dedication requested by the Jones family, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mrs. Janice Patrick Hardison, who would have celebrated her birthday June 24th. Dedication requested by the Patrick and Hardison families. Precious memory lingers still. A loving member, Mr. Steve O. Armstrong Sr., who departed this life June the 24th, 1976, and also a loving member, Mr. Steve Armstrong Jr., who departed this life June 24th, 2013. Dedication requested by the Armstrong family. Gone but not forgotten. A loving member, Mr. Cleotis Davis, who departed this life June 26, 1993. Dedication requested by the Davis family. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mother Hattie Mae Mathis, who departed this life June 26, 2011. Dedication requested by our beloved daughter, Dr. Ruby Jackson, and the entire Mathis family. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mr. Corey and Mr. Kerry Jones, who would have celebrated their birthday June 27th. Dedication requested by their beloved mother, Mrs. Ann Rouse, and the entire family. Gone but not forgotten. A loving member of Ms. Gwendolyn Ann Walker Armstrong, who departed this life June 30th, 2016. Dedication requested by the Armstrong family. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following, and on a very special anniversary wish. Happy 25th anniversary to Mr. Jim and Miss Patsy Jackson, my sister, who celebrated their anniversary Tuesday, June 18th. And also happy birthday to my sister, Mrs. Patsy Jackson, who celebrated her birthday on Saturday, yesterday, June 22nd. And happy birthday to Mr. Jim Jackson, who is celebrating his birthday today, Sunday, June 23rd. Dedication requested by their children, grandchildren, and the entire family. Happy birthday, Pat, and many, many more. Happy birthday, Brother Jim, and God continue to bless your union and keep it strong. Happy 24th anniversary to Mr. James and Miss Gayla Bleach, who celebrated their anniversary, who's celebrating their anniversary today, Sunday, June 23rd. Dedication requested by their family. God continue to bless your union and keep it strong. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following. Happy birthday to Mr. Sammy Epps Jr., who celebrated his birthday Tuesday, June 18th. Dedication requested by the entire Lawton and Epps family. Happy birthday to Mr. Bobby Johnson, who celebrated his birthday Saturday, June 22nd. Dedication requested by the family. Happy birthday to Bishop George Edward Westbrook of Tifton, Georgia, who is celebrating his birthday today, Sunday, June 23rd. Dedication requested by his beloved wife, Elder Tronda Westbrook, his children, grandchildren, his beloved mother, Mother Martha Ruth Westbrook of Arabi, Georgia, his mother-in-law, Mrs. Mary Jackson, and the entire family. Happy birthday to Bishop George Edward Westbrook of Tifton, Georgia. God bless you, and many, many more. Happy birthday to Miss Casey Harmon, who is celebrating her birthday today, Sunday, June 23rd. Dedication requested by her beloved children, grandchildren, her beloved mother, Mother Jessie Kate Harmon, and the entire family. Special birthday wishes goes out. Happy 98th birthday to Mrs. Willie Mae Cobb of Vienna, Georgia, who will celebrate her birthday Monday, June 24th. Dedication requested by Mr. Henry and Miss Lily Fox. Happy birthday to Miss Willie Mae Cobb of Vienna, Georgia. God bless you, many, many more. Happy birthday to Mr. Silas Ford, who will celebrate his birthday Thursday, June 27th. Dedication requested by his children, his grandchildren, and also his church membership. The Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church's pastor, Dr. K.M. Williams, Deacon Tommy Ford, and the Brotherhood Ministry. Brother Silas Ford, who will celebrate his birthday Thursday, June 27th. Happy birthday to Mr. Silas Ford, and also special birthday wishes goes out to Mr. Silas Ford from Miss Easter May Sanders and family. Happy birthday to Mr. Silence Ford. God bless you, and many, many more. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following: Deacon James Smith and family, Mr. A.J. and Ms. Vera Rivers and family, Deacon George Jordan and family, Diana George and his son, Deacon Jerome Jordan and family, Deacon Johnny and Sister Vera Perry and family, Diana Georgia, Mother Mary Benjamin and family, Miss Willie Mae Leary and family of Hatley, Georgia, and the entire Carter family of Hatley, Georgia, Mrs. Martha Westbrook and family of Araby, Georgia, Mother Adeline Lofton and family of Araby, Georgia, Deacon James and Dr. Elizabeth Maddox and family, and their mother, Mother Eddie Mae Graper and family, Chairman Deacon Roger and Sister Brenda Westbrook and family, Deacon Odell and Sister Dorothy Westbrook and family, Mr. and Mrs. Freddie Pittman and family, Mother Willie McGill and family, Deaconess Martha Ann Cross and family, Mr. and Mrs. Richard Cross and family, Deacon and Mrs. Zachary Fields and family, Miss Willie Mae Craft and family, my niece, Mrs. Tamika Dexter Ray and family, Mr. Bobby Ray and family, Miss Teresa Bryan and family, Miss Edna Clay and family, Mrs. Barbara Roberts and family, Mr. M.D. Lawton and family, Miss Octavia Hutchins and family, Mrs. Martha Clay and family, Deacon and Mrs. Janetta Wiggins and family, Miss Geraldine Johnson and family, Deacon William and Sister Robbie Durham and family have all been in Cordele, Georgia, Mr. and Mrs. Sammy Hill and family, Mr. and Mrs. Paul Johnson and family, Mr. and Mrs. Ernest Reese and family, Deacon Eddie Porter Jr. and family, Mr. Niece Denard and family, Mr. and Mrs. Melvin Jones and family, Mr. Lonnie Walker and family, Miss Carolyn Jackson and family, Pastor and Elder Billy Sanford and family, Deacon and Mrs. Alfred Hoggebrook and family, the Foster family, the Gamble family, Mr. and Mrs. Rupert Royal Jr. and family, Mrs. Tawana Leonard and family, Ms. Jacqueline Leonard and family, Mr. Robert Lee McLeod and family, Mrs. Barbara Lane and family, Ms. Dorothy Lucas and family, Mr. Charles McLeod and family, Mrs. Nettie Bush and family, Mr. and Mrs. Alvin Beal and family, Mrs. Connie James and family, Mother Minnie Fletcher and family, Ms. Ruby Felton and family, brother and Mrs. James Leon Hughes, pastor of the Church of Christ at Hilltop, Mrs. Charlie Butts and family, Mrs. Linda Askew and family, Janice Mumford and family, Mrs. Dorothy King, mother and daughter, Miss Fanny Royal and family, Mr. and Mrs. Eugene Ford and family, Mr. Johnny Campbell and family, the Spears family, Mrs. Aletha Askew, church clerk and trustee of the New Oak Grove Baptist Church, the Reverend and Mrs. Dion Jones and family, the Reverend and Mrs. Charles Perry Jr. and family, Deacon and Mrs. Rodney Teal and family, Dr. and Mrs. Henry Young and family, Mrs. Ida Ruth Bryant and family, Mr. and Mrs. Jerome Outlaw and family, the Reverend and Mrs. Willie E. Lockett and family of Albany, Georgia, pastor of the Mr. and Mrs. Jerry Lester and family, the King family, Deacon Michael Holden, families Vivian Telfair family, Mrs. Lucius Bagley and family, the Hayward Hopper family, the Venable family, the Reverend and Mrs. Douglas Parham and family, Cynthia White and families, Irma Tyson and family, Judge Gail Sims and family, Mr. Ernest Kears and family, Miss Betty Dotson and family, Miss Sarah Henderson and family, Mr. Rael Wilson and family, Mr. Herman and family of Ashburn, Georgia, Miss Sandra Jackson and family, Dr. Eutha D. Dydale and families, Mary Kitchen and family, Miss Betty Wallace and family, Miss Serena Williams and family, Miss Marion Street and family, Mrs. Curtis Ezel, Miss BJ and the staff of BJ's Diner and the entire Felton family, the Reverend and Mrs. Willie James Felton and family, Miss Ruby Jones and family, Mr. and Mrs. Roosevelt Williams and family, Mr. Anthony West and family, Mrs. Willie Ruth Jones and family, Deacon and Mrs. Greg Frederick and family, Ms. Isaiah Carter and family, Mr. Benny Hamilton and family, Ms. Valerie Royal and family, Mrs. Geraldine Perry and family, Mrs. Geraldine Harvey and family, Dr. Ruby Jackson and family, the family of the late the Reverend Grover Mathis, Ms. Juanita Lewis and family, Mr. Michael Lane and family, Mr. and Mrs. Governor Arnold and family, Deacon and Mrs. Garrett Parham and family, Deacon and Mrs. Frank Brown and family, Mrs. Johnny Bell and family, Ms. Dyson Relaford and family, Mother Mary Hall and family, Ms. Bessie Slay and family, Ms. Regina Bryan and family, Ms. Brenda Dent and family. Our first selection this morning goes out to my neighbor, Mother Theron Jones and family, and the entire Jones and Tarbert family. Deacon and Mrs. John Stubbs and family, Deacon and Mrs. Donald Tarbert and family, Apostle and Mrs. Morris Jones and family, the Reverend and Mrs. Eddie Tarbert and family, and Mrs. Juanita Mathis Tarbert and family. Our first selection for this morning. It is certainly with the deepest regret that we make the following announcement. Mrs. Gloria Jean Wright Chandler, age 77, of 3211 Lancaster Lane, Albany, Georgia, died Monday, June 17, at the Phoebe Putnam Memorial Hospital in Albany, Georgia. The wake service for Mrs. Gloria Jean Wright Chandler, age 77, will be held today, Sunday, June 23rd, at 3 p.m. at the chapel of the Jwwilliams Funeral Home in Cordele, Georgia. The Reverend Dr. H.C. Wilson, pastor of the St. Matthew's Baptist Church, will officiate. The funeral service for Mrs. Gloria Jean Wright Chandler, age 77, will be held Tuesday, June 25th at 11 a.m. at the Mount Patmos Baptist Church in Decatur, Georgia. The pastor, the Reverend Paul Dwayne, will officiate. The burial will follow at the Rest Haven Gardens of Memory in Decatur, Georgia. Mr. James Leron Gaines, age 42, of 2004 South 10th Street, Cordele, Georgia, died Wednesday, June 19th at his residence in Cordele, Georgia. The public visitation for Mr. James Leron Gaines, age 42, will be Thursday, June 27th from 1 until 5 p.m. at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home in Cordele, Georgia. Mr. Marcus Bernard Washington Sr., age 35, of 315 Porter Street, Vienna, Georgia, died Saturday, June 22nd, due to injury sustained in a motorcycle accident in Pulaski County, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Marcus Bernard Washington, age 35, will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangements. The Jwwilliams funeral directors serving Cordele and Vienna are in charge of each of these arrangements during this week. Our next and final selection for this morning is dedicated to the bereaved families whose loved ones were laid to rest during the past week. The family of Mrs. Connie A. Calloway Anthony of Americus, Georgia. The family of Mr. Clyde Neal Anthony of Americus, Georgia. This selection is dedicated to the bereaved families whose loved ones will be laid to rest during this week. The family of Mrs. Gloria Jean Wright Chandler of Albany, Georgia. The family of Mr. James Leron Gaines of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Mr. Marcus Bernard Washington Sr. of Vienna, Georgia. This election is dedicated to all of the sick and shut-in, to all patients in the local and surrounding hospitals, nursing homes, and rehabilitation centers, to our beloved ministers and their devoted family members, to all retired educators, to the men and women serving in armed forces, both stateside and abroad, to all veterans, and to everyone who listens to our program on each Sunday morning. It's a pleasure for us to bring it to you. Our program goes out in memory of our past president, Dr. Napoleon Williams, to my wife, Mrs. Calandra Wilkerson Parker, to my son, Jai Wilkerson Parker. This election goes out to my brother, retired Chief Master Sergeant Norman F. Dexter, and his wife, Dr. Gwendolyn Maxine Dexter, and their grandson, Noble. This election goes out to my sister, Mrs. Patsy Jackson, and to her husband, Mr. Jim Jackson, again, who celebrate their anniversary during this past week, and both birthdays on yesterday and today. Again, happy birthday to my sister Pat and her husband, Mr. Jim Jackson. God bless you. This election goes out to my nephew, Deacon Kenneth Smith, program chairman of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church, who's with us this morning, recording our program for our Facebook watchers and YouTube channel there. So it says thank you to Deacon Kenneth Smith. Goes out to our pastor, Dr. K.M. Williams, pastor of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church, his wife, Sister Kathy Williams, to our son, the Reverend Christopher Williams, pastor of the Antioch Baptist Church of Cuthbert, Georgia. This election goes out to Mr. Cleveland R. Lemon, oldest staff member of the Jwwilliams Funeral Home and steward of the Bethel CME Church here in the city of Cordele, Georgia. This election goes out to our beloved Easter Bay Sanders, goes out to the Reverend Johnny Dean, pastor of the New Poplar Spring Baptist Church of Byronville, Georgia, our friend and brother of long standing. Goes out to our dear friend, Deacon Jimmy Charles Montfrey, and to his wife, retired educator, Sister Carol Montfrey, and to the Crossroad Baptist Church, where he serves as chairman of the Board of Deacons, to his pastor, the Reverend Nelson Maynard, mother of the church, Mother Eileen Payne and family. Goes out to Deacon Sammy Montfrey and family. And goes out to Mr. Roscoe Anderson and family, Mr. Mika Hardy and family, Mr. Marcus Carter and family, brother and friend, Mr. Leon Hawkins and family, to his mother, Ms. Elaine Hawkins and family, the entire Hawkins family. Goes out to Mrs. Jerome Anderson and family, Mr. Willie B. Barnes and family of Vienna, Georgia, Mr. and Mrs. Sonny Daniels and family, Deacon and Mrs. Carl Reuben Smith and family, Mrs. Fannie Mae Lester and family, Deacon Theodore Key and family, the family of the late Deacon and Mrs. Joseph Williams of Vienna, Georgia, Mr. Keith O'Brien and family, Mr. and Mrs. John Henry Bembry and families, Carrie Mae Holt and family. Our final selection for this morning, God bless you, this fourth Sunday in June 2024. God bless you.
Thank you for joining us this morning. We hope you've enjoyed our program. Tune in again on next Sunday morning. And remember, in your time of need, contact the competent, capable, and dependable staff at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home.